Welcome back to another episode on the Slow Growth Investing channel. Today is going to be the update for August, all the dividends I received this month. Let's go ahead and just start with the tracker. Now, I do want to note I made quite a few changes this month, and then also I'm shifting away from using this tracker just because you can see that there are a bunch of things that aren't working correctly. I think the owner of this tracker, the creator of this tracker, put out some type of fix to it, and I tried the fix and it just kind of messed it up even more. So I'm not sure exactly what happened. Maybe I could restart it, but I'm just going to use this to track the actual dividends that come through, and then we'll look at a couple different options. Dashboard, we're looking at 53.73. Last month we were at 45.83 for our cost basis, so we invested another 800 or so, I guess including dividends. And then you can see from last month we were at $500 annually, and now we're at $1,500 annually, so we tripled it, and that is going to be a lot from those yield max ETFs, but we'll see that shortly. So let's go ahead and just move over to track your dividends here. Now this says only 1,000, and I probably trust this one a little bit more than the spreadsheet, but you know, who knows. So you can see I added a lot of different holdings here. I removed the S&P 500 index, and I went ahead and just picked out some of the companies from that index, so that way I could have a little bit more of a broad exposure to them, because I was looking, and historically the S&P 500 hasn't done well as a lot of individual stocks. So these are the stocks that I've looked at and kind of seen if I want to invest in them, kind of seen that I think they will be able to keep up and they'll be able to outperform the broader market. So these are going to be the ones I'm rolling with. So let's go ahead and just go on upcoming dividends just so we can see this. And I kind of just want to show what this portfolio is averaging right now. So right now there usually would be a chart right here, but we're averaging about $135 a month, with the highest being 143 and the lowest being 129. And there it goes. So you can see we're at 100 over every single month. And then this also shows you like what dividends should be coming through and whatnot. Let's go ahead and pop into M1 Finance. Now this is what I have most of the, regular growth plays in. So if we click on this for the growth, we can see that we have Google here, we have ASML, Amazon, AMD, Visa, Home Depot, and then one that I've added recently is Cheesecake Factory. This is the one that I've done the most research on. I think their financials look good. They're opening new locations, and then they also do pay dividends. So at least while I'm holding it, like some of these other companies like Amazon, or I know Google pays one now, but AMD, while you're kind of waiting, at least you get a dividend while also receiving some of that growth. So I'm just going to rock with these ones for a little while and see how they do. I don't really plan on changing this out unless like Visa has a big issue with the crypto, or if Google somehow falls apart, which I don't think either of those things are going to happen. Home Depot is one of my favorite stocks, and it also pays a dividend. SCHD for some dividend income, and then JPQ for monthly dividend income. Now SCHD, I've been thinking about switching this out a little bit to something like SPHD. That one's a monthly payer, and allegedly, from what I've read, it's a little bit more stable. I don't know how it could be more stable, because I imagine they're going to hold similar companies, and I mean, unless the companies that SCHD have, which I know they have, like in their top 10, they have companies like Chevron and things of that nature. I don't think I should really have an issue with SCHD. It's a matter of just like getting the money faster. I think that's probably what people like, but it's not really a big deal for me. Now, that's all that's in M1, and I just want to show this that way it's a little bit more like transparent. That way it doesn't just seem like I'm making up stuff. Now, MSTY, that's the first one I have in Robinhood. And now MSTY, you can see that I'm actually down quite a bit on this one. I'm kind of waiting for this to drop off. Now, if we look back, it was about $17, and I was actually going to add more, but I did watch a conversation that they were talking about with the yield max. Whoever manages this fund was talking about, and he said, don't expect it to be, to go back up to, I think it was about 21 or so. Yeah, almost 21. So he said, don't expect it to go back up to that point. There's going to be some NAV erosion. Let it dip. It's probably going to be between like 15 and 19. So we're at that 15 point, but I just want to see that if it does drop anymore, I could probably squeeze a little bit more out of it and then get a few more shares and lower my average cost. But in last episode, we talked about maybe getting to 100 shares. I'm halfway there. Obviously, if it's at $15, it's going to be a lot easier to get that 100 shares versus if it was 19 or 20. So I'm probably just going to do that. And then we also received a pretty big dividend this month, at least in terms of comparing to our other one. Now, one that I added this month was a Goldman Sachs Premium Income ETF. I haven't received any income from this one just yet. I have it just on a weekly buy, but I guess this is a good alternative to the GPIQ. I just wanted to get my hands wet in this one. I only have $70 in it, so not very much, but just to see how it does, how it performs. And I don't see adding another income generating ETF is really going to hurt me too bad, unless this really like implodes. But I think if we look at it, it actually, it's down a little bit, and you can see this probably when people buy up a lot of it and the dividend has to slowly sell it off, and then it just kind of repeats the cycle. Maybe not in this case, but maybe in this case down here. But I think over year to date with dividends included, it actually done pretty well. So if I get in another dip like this where it dips really low, I'll be having some good like just generative income, and then I can deploy that income to my M1. Now last but not least, I think this newest position, I'm just doing $7 a day on this one, so it gets me about a share. I have 17 shares so far, and then I also just got my biggest dividend payment from this one, and that's ULTY. Now a lot of people are saying they don't care for ULTY, this or that, but I think it's because they have basically their whole portfolio on it. I mean, this is only a small percentage. I think it's like maybe $1,000 worth of a 5,000, so I guess it's like a 20%, but this is generating me income. I'm not really in need for the money. It's just generating. So I'm just going to let this keep rocking. Probably my plan is probably just to get to 100 shares here too, and then maybe try to sell some type of option on it just to make a little bit extra. You can see it slowly going down. And of course there's going to be an average in a stock like this, but it has been kind of flat. And I know they are changing their strategies a little bit to let that NAV erosion kind of equalize and not give up so much. But I think Yield Max still is relatively new as far as I'm concerned. And I think they will kind of get their strategy in control after a little while, but ultimately use these to generate income. And then if they just don't do well and they keep declining, maybe what I'll do is all the money I've generated with it, I'll probably just funnel that into GPIQ, SCHD, those other ones, and then just let that rock while I kind of either search out another one or hopefully have enough to where those more stable dividends are going to pay for my expenses. Let's go ahead and pop into the dividend tracker. Let's go ahead and go to dividend log, and let's look at what we received in August. Now let's scroll down to 2025. Now we got $7.81 from JPQ, $55.80 from MSTY. This is my biggest one so far, and then $2.44 from ULTY. Now my last ULTY payment was $1.38, so this is going to just keep climbing. But for now, I'm pretty happy with it. And if we scroll all the way over, you can see that for this month we got $66.05. So hopefully you're enjoying the kind of update so far. Obviously, we're growing quite a bit. I think last week for MSTY or last month was only like $14, and now we're at $55.80. Granted, I added a lot, but just cool to see kind of the progression. But that's all I have for you this episode. If you want to see anything else, let me know, and we'll see you again probably next month for another update.